Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a business case that is so much more than just numbers on a page. It's really a blueprint for a nation's technological ambition. This is a story about Saudi Arabia, told through one single project that's designed to completely change the game for every inventor, every engineer, and every dreamer in the kingdom.
All right, so let's just jump right in. But we're going to do this a little differently. We're actually going to start at the end. This quote, this is the final verdict from the business case. The project is a go. And this one sentence tells you everything you need to know. It's strategic, it's financially sound, and it's solving a real urgent problem. So for the rest of this explainer, we're going to unpack exactly why this decision was such a no-brainer.
So how did this project get such a clear, enthusiastic green light? Well, to get that, we first have to really understand what Tectronix actually is and the crucial strategic role it's meant to play.
Okay, before we go any further, let's make sure we're all on the same page with a key piece of tech, the printed circuit board, or PCB. You've seen these things, those intricate green boards inside literally every piece of electronics you own. The absolute best way to think of a PCB is as the device's central nervous system. It's the physical highway that connects the brain, the microchip, to all the other parts, letting everything talk to each other and bring that gadget to life.
Every great business starts by solving a problem. And to see why Tectronix is so important, so strategic, we have to look at the major roadblock, this huge innovation bottleneck that was holding back the kingdom's entire tech sector.
The whole reason this project even exists can be boiled down to this one question. For a country with the massive goals of Vision 2030, a country that wants to be a global tech leader, figuring out what's slowing down your hardware development isn't just some academic exercise, it's an absolute economic imperative.
And this slide just lays out the problem perfectly. On the left, that's the nightmare scenario for any Saudi innovator. You have a great idea, but you have to send your designs overseas. That means waiting forever, paying a fortune, and always worrying that your brilliant idea, your intellectual property, could get stolen. But then, look at the right. That's the Tectronix promise. It's about flipping that whole process on its head. We're talking rapid, local prototypes in just a few days, and secure production right there in the kingdom. It's a direct fix for a system that was just crushing creativity.
So, if that's the bottleneck, the big problem, how do you actually build the tool to break it wide open? Well, that brings us to the homegrown solution itself.
And here it is, the solution made real. Tectronix. It's not just an idea. It's a physical facility based in Jeddah, built for one single mission: to provide an end-to-end service for creating custom electronics right inside Saudi Arabia. It's designed to be fast, super safe for your ideas, and affordable enough for everyone from a university student to a major tech startup.
The project's goals are really built on four incredibly powerful pillars. First, speed. We're talking about cutting the time it takes to get a physical prototype from months down to just weeks, or maybe even days. Second, control, owning the entire process locally. Third, security. And this is so critical, keeping all that sensitive engineering data inside the country's borders. And fourth, alignment, tying directly into Vision 2030 by building up a high-tech manufacturing sector and developing local talent.
So who are the heroes in this story? Who really stands to win here? Well, this slide lays them out. We're talking about the tech startups building the next generation of robots and smart devices. We're talking about university students in makerspaces who need to turn theories into actual projects. The big industrial companies that need custom parts. And, so importantly, developers in super sensitive fields like medicine and energy, where keeping your intellectual property safe isn't just a nice to have, it's an absolute must.
A powerful idea is one thing, for sure. But does the math actually add up? To answer that, the business case had to dig into the hard data to map out the real market opportunity.
Let's just start with one big, powerful number that really frames this whole thing. 1.56 times billion Saudi riyals. That's, over 400 million US dollars? According to all the research, that's how big the demand for PCBs in Saudi Arabia is going to be by 2029. This is not some tiny niche market. It is a massive, untapped opportunity right at home.
And here's the kicker. That huge number isn't just sitting there. It's growing, and it's growing fast. This chart shows the market is projected to shoot up from 900 million riyals today to that 1.5 billion figure in just 5 years. That's a compound annual growth rate of 13%. Let me tell you, in the world of industrial markets, that is an incredibly strong signal of serious sustained demand.
So who's actually driving all this spending? This breakdown shows it's the core pillars of a modern economy. Look at that. Telecom and consumer electronics make up half the market right there.
Then you add in industrial and automotive, and you see that the demand is coming from the biggest, most strategic sectors in the entire kingdom.
And if we dig a little deeper, we can see what kind of technology is really in demand. And this is fascinating. The biggest chunk of the market, 35%, is for complex, multi-layer PCBs, the kind of stuff you find in really sophisticated devices like smartphones and advanced medical equipment. This proves the demand isn't for simple little circuits. It's for advanced, high-value manufacturing.
Okay, so the market opportunity is undeniable. It's there. But can Tectronix actually capture that opportunity and turn it into a real, sustainable business? That's where we have to look at the blueprint for success. When the investors were looking at the financials, 3 key numbers really told the whole story. The first is this one, 21.8%. This is the internal rate of return, or IRR, which is basically a pure measure of profitability. The fact that it's way above the target investment rate makes it a super attractive deal right from the start.
The next question is always, okay, that's great, but how long until we make our money back? And the answer is 8.7 years. Now, for a big, capital-intensive project like a high-tech manufacturing plant, a payback period under a decade is considered a very, very strong and acceptable time frame.
And finally, we get to the big one. The total return on investment is projected at a staggering 90.2%. I mean, that's a number so strong that the business case itself just calls it outstanding. So you put those 3 numbers together and you get a crystal clear picture of a project that isn't just strategically brilliant, it's financially powerful.
And a quick look at the profitability margins shows just how healthy this business is expected to be once it gets going. That huge gross profit margin, over 70%, that proves that the basic activity of just making and selling these PCBs is highly profitable. This points directly to a sustainable, long-term business model.
And this slide brings our entire explainer right back to the beginning, full circle. It summarizes all the hard financial data that backs up that green light we started with. A strong IRR, an outstanding ROI, a great profitability index, and fantastic liquidity to manage the day-to-day. The numbers are telling the exact same story as the strategy. This project is a definite go.
So, we've seen the problem, we've seen the homegrown solution, and we've seen the financial blueprint for success. And it all leaves us with one final, really provocative thought. Tectronix is clearly more than just a factory. It's a catalyst. And it just makes you wonder what really happens when an entire nation's innovators are empowered to stop just importing ideas and are finally given the tools they need to start building them at home.